What's up, ladies and gents? I'm here at the National Bikers Weekend 2023. I'm parked somewhere over there, but that's not the important thing. The important thing is I'm going to be showing you a bit about this year's iteration of Bikers Weekend. I'm not sure you can hear me because I was supposed to bring the microphone, but I totally forgot about it, so I'm doing everything on my handphone instead of my proper camera with a proper mic. So I'm just gonna be showing you, there is a... Yes! Hey! I can't believe y'all know.
Animo DRG.
But my DRG was so long ago, yeah. So, are you here for the Gymkhana? Yes. How? You've done your part already?
Yeah, without waiting for the time slot to start. So
Okay.
now we're resting.
So, yeah, as usual as last year, there is a Moto Gymkhana section. It ran on yesterday as well, right?
Yesterday there was a special slow speed challenge. It's like planking but without the plank.
Ah.
So the slowest one wins, and then also a salam challenge. Fastest one wins.
Like TP test like that. Yeah. So that's what they have this year as well. Today I'm here on Sunday, so if you're watching this, you probably did not come and you're not going to be seeing any of this. But this is just to show you what they brought this year as well. I love the sound of engines. So, as it has always been in last year, this year is for the most part very similar to what happened last year. Now, I came to the National Bikers Weekend this year with very low expectations because I was expecting that they would be holding it an expo like what the previous Singapore Bike Show used to do before they went defunct and was replaced by the organizer that's doing this particular show. So I had very low expectations coming in when I realized that they are holding 2023 back at the D Marquee again, a place that is incredibly small for an automotive show of any kind. So to be honest, while I'm going to say it is not an amazing show, I'll show you a lot of the B-roll later and I'll talk to you about some of the more important highlights that I saw during my first run through the show. It is a slightly bigger improvement over last year. There are more bikes, more new models being showcased this year, and in essence they have filled up a bit more spaces with actual motorcycles, beautiful motorcycles, instead of apparel that has been seen in retail shops many times over, and you really just come here for discounts if they even have any. One thing that I was really happy about seeing at this year's show is this. If you have been watching my channel, I was in Japan, I had rented this. This is CT125 Hunter Cup from Honda. And I had very glowing reviews for the CT125. Now, for the past few years, the CT125 has not been in the Singaporean market. We only had the C125 Supercar. But the fact that it's here means that I believe Bunsu Honda is bringing them in. So this is great news for people like me that enjoy the CT125 and might possibly want to get their hands on one of these within Singapore. Great news to hear about. If you've not seen my review, go back to my channel page, look for a review of this bike and take a look at it. It's a very good bike for what it costs and what it does. Apart from that, my ugly mug is taking up the limelight, but over here we've got the themed versions of the ADV 150 from Honda with Captain America livery and Iron Man livery. Don't worry about my face blocking the screen. I am going to be putting them up as B-roll for you to see later. Okay, one more thing that I wanted to show. We always thought that Singapore's bike market would be very slow to respond to the new models that has been making waves overseas. The ZX4R is also now in Singapore. I generally don't keep myself updated on the status of Kawasaki imports in Singapore because Kawasaki doesn't really have a huge presence here. There's not much of a showroom to speak of, so this is the first time I'm able to see the ZX4R that has been making a lot of waves in the US appear in Singapore in person. And not only that, if you follow me over here, they also have a 125. Not as impressive, but just something to talk about. So I am at the Kimco Boost right now. It's a bit hard. I'm going to go a bit closer to take a look, show you something. So over here,
and also it is same as Metal Edge Neo DMC Generation 2. So for the DMC Generation
not sure if you managed to catch that. That is the Noodle logo. I'm at the Kimco booth. Now I took a look at most of the bikes in the Kimco booth, the scooters over here. Most of them are still on IC engines. Now, if you know what Noodle is as a company, you will know that they are a electric battery and charging system. On top of that, they do support some development in electric drivetrains, but they're not vehicle manufacturers themselves. So when I saw the Noodle logo up there, they are also a Taiwanese company, Kimco as well, being a Taiwanese company. Hints at a possibility that Kimco might possibly be partnering with Noodle to produce some sort of an electric scooter of their own. Now, I'm pretty sure there's one particular brand of electric scooters that's already quite prominent in Taiwan. It's all over the place with charging stations everywhere. The brand name kind of escapes my head right now, and I'll probably put the name of it down here in the video subs, and you can search it up if you want. But for now, it hints to greater things to come. But for now, the three-wheeler market, especially for scooters, they're not new. Especially even when it comes to Taiwanese companies in general. But the only company that ever did a three-wheeler for Taiwan is the Niva 83. But Kimco has their own right here. That is a CV3. I will show you more B-roll for better upfront view of what it is. But right now, what I'm seeing is it's more or less pretty similar replacement for something like the Peugeot, the MP3. If you ask me to make a comparison between this and the other three-wheelers on the market. So another booth that pretty much is here at the 2023 version of the National Bikers Weekend, and they were here last year as well, is Zante. Now Zante, I think they are really trying very hard to break into the Singapore market, and I'd be lying if I said the bikes they made did not look cool. I did say the same thing about Zante last year, about the bikes looking cool, but I was very wary of the support structure for Zante's motorcycles because they are from China, and Zante's and other Chinese brands didn't have a very huge market dominance or market presence in Singapore to begin with. So they were a brand that I would very likely not have recommended earlier.
Be sure to seize this opportunity to get the best please.
So just heading over to the back here to take a look at some of the more off-road focused bikes. They are very handsome bikes, if I were to be honest, and for 2 years in a row, if Zante is putting this much effort into marketing in Singapore, we'll take a look at how their business structure works over here in Singapore, whether they are able to establish that sort of presence here on a longer term basis. And if that is so, I might actually start, possibly renting one of these to review them, and if they are good, I would probably recommend them as well, instead of brushing them off so easily as I did before. So over here, Pan America from Harley-Davidson. I thought they weren't being sold in Singapore. Apparently, the gentleman over there says they've been in Singapore since 2 years ago. I am a bit surprised because I couldn't find them when I went out to get my desert sled. But that's pretty good news actually. It means people like me that are into a bit of this ADV style motorcycles and want to spend a bit more on the expensive stuff, you can actually get that in Singapore. I think probably the issue was when I was out trying to look for one of these, they might have been oversubscribed, so I just couldn't get one of them. But well, if they could bring one to the showroom, it means they might have a bit more stock at the moment to get one. And here we have Sherco. Now, Sherco, they are a pretty prominent brand exclusively off-road motorcycles with a bit of supermoto. Now, they've never been in Singapore before, as far as I know. Most of the off-road bikes in Singapore have been dominated primarily by KTM, and KTM now owns a bit of actually they own entirely Husqvarna, so it's entirely been Husqvarna and KTM for the past many donkey years in Singapore when it comes to off-road dirt bikes. But now you have another option in the form of Sherco dirt bikes. And to be honest, Sherco isn't a bad option, even though if you were to be watching stuff like the Hair Scramble, the Erzberg Rodeo, Sherco really isn't at the top. It's still mostly dominated by lighter models like the Beta, sort of really those bikes. But yeah, it's just nice to have options right here. Okay, right here I am sitting beside a brand of electric scooters. They say they are the first company in Singapore to be fully approved for sale as a road-going motorcycle. So this is from Quantum Motorcycles, and the one that's right beside me, which is going to be pretty much the same as every single other bike in their booth. It's the G2. So the G2 Quantum, I'm just going to read off the specs, and if you want to, I'm going to leave the link to the website so you can actually take a more in-depth look at the specs. But at the top of my head, the most important points that I'm going to be talking about is the fact that it uses the same Type 2 electric charging power point. So if you have a electric car charging point in your estate, you can use the same exact power point to actually charge your G2. On top of that, one very good thing to actually have about it being an electric scooter and having an electric motor is that it has a reverse gear, sort of like the Gold Wing, but the Gold Wing also did that with an electric motor. So you just have one motor doing everything, and that's the beauty of having electric motors in general. Hopefully other electric motorcycles in future actually has that option, because Singapore has a lot of downhill basement parking, and sometimes you get stuck at the gantry and you can't get back up if you are facing downwards. On top of that, the rest of the stuff is pretty much very normal. You've got a sport mode, eco mode, regular rain mode. On top of that, a combined braking system, which isn't really that great over a proper ABS, but it's better than having no sort of assisted braking. So you've only got 80 kilometers of range at the top speed of 93 kilometers per hour and a full charge time of 2.5 hours. For the purposes of it being used in Singapore, it's perfectly fine for what it is. Though when I first saw it, I kind of mistook it for the Gogoro, which is ubiquitous in Taiwan right now. If you went to Taiwan, you will see a Gogoro literally on every street, because they have battery swapping stations across the entire country, which kind of made the spread of the Gogoro very fast and made it a very practical alternative to ICE engines. In Singapore, we still have not managed to get that sort of logistics network approved yet. So it's going to take a bit of time before real electric mobility becomes actually practical. The fact that this uses 2 removable batteries on the chassis that is welded in is kind of testament to the fact that I guess at least Quantum is sort of future-proofing their design a bit. So in future, when battery swapping is allowed, is an option that they can do for existing owners of the Quantum to actually remove that welded plate and allow that sort of capability to exist. So that is pretty much the entirety of the National Bikers Weekend 2023. At least the things that I thought was interesting. The rest is pretty much models of motorcycles you would have seen in showrooms or last year if you came here many times over. They're not new. What I showed you was things that are specifically things I think a lot of people did not see, at least for the past 1 year. Now, is the National Bikers Weekend a better event than last year on its own 2 feet? I think it is a bit, but overall, is it a good event? Maybe. Is it great on the international stage? Definitely not. It's definitely no Tokyo Motorcycle Show. It's definitely no EICMA. Now, I'm not going to pile on the organizers of this event. I can understand where the limitations are. Tokyo is different. Tokyo and Italy, they have actual immediate support from many manufacturers within the country, so it's a lot more easier to set things up. Over here, you're only dealing with distributors, but however, considering the fact that Singapore's industry is rather well off, companies are rather powerful, to be honest. Let's not think that companies like Bunsiu or Hong Leong as distributors for the Japanese motorcycles, as well as HarleyDavidson and Ducatis, their representatives here aren't big. They are pretty big. I think they could have definitely done better if they put a bit more effort into it. But then again, that is dependent on the relationship between the company. I can't really remember what some white private limited, the organizer for this event's relationship with the distributors and the marquees being represented here. So the fact that they could pull something together here is already pretty good. Now, if I had any recommendations, I would say if they could work with the rest of the motorcycle industry a bit more closely and hold it in Expo next year, that would really be the greatest thing that they could do for the National Bikers Weekend in general. And that's hoping. Fingers crossed on that. And if you like what you saw today, do remember to give me a like, a thumbs up, hit a bell notification icon, all that stuff. I know I have not been doing a lot of videos recently. My work has taken the forefront of my life right now. This channel is just a hobby. I don't really make any money out of it. So I can't possibly be doing content all the time. So I'm just doing this to share my love for motorcycles and to share with you what I can experience as far as the motorcycle culture is concerned in Singapore for the rest of the international stage. And I'll see you next time. Peace out. Bye-bye.